Hey guys, this is Steve with DQ'd Barbecue, and today we're going to be cooking some venison tenderloin on the acorn kamado. Y'all hang out. Alright y'all, so deer season just finished up around home, and while I didn't get a chance to get into the woods myself, my brother did, and I was able to snag a few choice pieces of venison off of him. So what we got here today is venison tenderloin, and if you don't know what that is, that's the inner loin of the deer. It's the best cut of meat on the animal. Now when I was a kid, when we'd harvest a deer, Dad would slice a tenderloin up into thin pieces and we'd batter it in a mixture of flour, salt, and pepper, and we'd fry it in butter. We'd take those small pieces and we'd just put them on a piece of white bread with a little bit of yellow mustard, and that was just great. So what we're going to do today is we're going to try to come up with a recipe that sort of harkens back to that nostalgic note. So we're going to cook this venison whole, and to replace that butter, we're going to go ahead and wrap it in bacon and let the bacon fat crisp up the outside a little bit. Now for seasoning, we're just going to use our salt, pepper, garlic, sort of like you would for beef, and I'm going to add a little bit of dried mustard just to see if I can't get those nostalgic notes to come back with me. Alright, let's trim this up. Y'all get in here and take a look. So to me, the toughest part of preparing any sort of venison is removing that silver skin. It seems like it's just a little bit more sinewy on venison than it is on, say, beef, and I'm not the best with knife skills, but you be patient, you keep working through it, and you'll get it done. It just might take a little bit of time. So the first bit of seasoning we're going to hit this venison with is just some kosher salt. Now treat this about like you would a beef tenderloin. It's going to be able to stand up that salt, so don't be afraid of it. Give it a good healthy dose. Next we're going to come in with some of that black pepper. Again, treat it like beef, you know. I like a good bit of black pepper on mine. You just flavor to what you like. Lastly, we're going to complete that holy trinity of red meat with some garlic. Now I don't like to go too crazy here, but some people do say that the garlic will help take the gaminess out if it's something that you're super sensitive to, so keep that in mind. Now what I want to try here is adding just a little bit of dried ground mustard to this tenderloin to see if I can't get some of those notes that I remember in my head of eating the yellow mustard on it like a sandwich when I was a kid. So we'll throw it on here and we'll see how it comes out in the end. Now this last thing we're going to add to season with is some coarse, spicy Montreal seasoning. Now a lot of people like regular Montreal seasoning for their steak, but there's just something in there that doesn't vibe with me. But now this spicy Montreal steak seasoning, I'm a big fan of, and it's going to give us some of that coarse, maybe a little bit of crunchiness when we're eating our venison. Alright, so now to give our venison a little extra complexity to its flavor, we're going to cook it in a bacon weave. Now this particular bacon weave is made out of a pack and a half of thinly sliced bacon. Now, just like with that silver skin, this is something you're just going to want to be patient with, because more than just for flavor, it's also a little bit of a visual cue on our meal, so we want it to look real good. So take your time, lay your bacon out, fold back every other strip, start laying them down to make that crosshatch pattern. Then you're just going to fold your bacon back, and once you get them all laid back over, you're going to go ahead and fold back the opposite strips and just keep going until you get to the end. Okay, so we got our bacon weave done. Now it's time to go ahead and wrap up that tenderloin. So what we're going to do here, you'll notice I've got this on some parchment paper to help with this part. We're going to lay that tenderloin right in the middle of the bacon weave. We're going to grab one side of that parchment paper, fold it right over. Once it's down and good and off the paper, we're going to fold the other side over. Make sure all of our pieces of bacon come nice off the paper, and then there you go. We've got our venison tenderloin all wrapped up. Alright, we're going to let this hang out for a little bit. Let's go outside, go ahead and get a fire started. See y'all in a bit. Okay, so to get our fire started today, we're going to go ahead and start with some good lump charcoal. Today, we're going to be using some royal oak. After we get that charcoal in our basket, we're going to go ahead and make a nice little spot. We're going to put in today we're using a tumbleweed fire starter. We're going to get it put right down in that spot, light it off, and then make sure we got that lump charcoal right around it. So once our coals have had some time to come up to temp, we're going to go ahead and add our smoky wood. Now today, we're going to use a few small pieces of apple. I don't want to get too crazy with this because I've never actually smoked venison before. After we get our smoke wood on, we'll go ahead and add our plate setter or diverter, and we'll definitely add our drip pan today, because if you've ever cooked bacon on a grill, the grease it's a real thing. Alright, looks like we're good to go. We'll go ahead and get our grill grate back on there, head back inside and grab our venison. Alright, y'all, we got our venison tenderloin all seasoned up. It's wrapped up snug in that bacon weave. We're going to check our temps outside on the acorn. And as long as they're in that 275 range, we'll go ahead and put this on and see what happens. Y'all hang out. Alright guys, so according to my ThermalWorks smoke, our pit's sitting right at that 275 mark. So we're going to go ahead and get it open and get our venison tenderloin on. Y'all hang out. Let's get our bacon weave venison right in the middle of this drip pan today. Go ahead and get our temp probe in it, and we're going to watch it. Let it come up to 140 today because we're serving it to other people, and I'm not sure what they like their dinners at. So we're going to go for medium. Alright y'all, according to my ThermalWorks smoke, we got our tenderloin up to that 140 temperature. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at it. If it looks good, we'll go ahead and get it off. Y'all hang out. So we've been on the pit for a little bit more than an hour to hit that 140 temp. Looks like our bacon is doing just fine. It's nice and done. So we're going to go ahead and get this inside and let it rest for a little while. Y'all hang out. Alright y'all, we got a tenderloin in here off the pit. It's been resting for between 10 and 15 minutes. And we're going to dive into it right now. But first, just wanted to review what we did today. First off, we took that deer tenderloin, we made sure we trimmed off all that silver skin. We went ahead and seasoned it up with salt, pepper, garlic, a little bit of dried mustard, and then some of that spicy Montreal steak seasoning. We did our bacon weave, wrapped it up, and then we took it out to the pit. We had our pit sitting at 275 today with just a little bit of applewood in it. Now cooking like that, it took us just a little bit over the hour mark to get our tenderloin done. Now pulling it off the pit, you can see our bacon didn't get quite as crispy as I'd liked, but it's done, and you're just going to have, this is a small piece of meat. We didn't cook it for real long, but hey, that bacon's there mainly just to let that fat flavor over this deer tenderloin. Alright, let's go ahead and dig in. Oh yeah, look at that, perfect doneness. Now I ran this to 140 because I'm serving this to other people and they might not like the same rareness that I do. But oh man, let's get this piece right here. Alright, let's go ahead and get a little piece cut off there. Alright, we're going to have to try this one right now. Alright y'all, here we go. That's tender. I'm telling y'all, if you serve this to someone and didn't tell them it was venison, they'd have no idea you weren't serving them some beef tenderloin. That is spot on tender. And it's in that medium zone. It's not even in the rare zone where I like to keep things. Now, our seasoning today, that bacon on top of that just makes that. I tell you what, the salt, pepper, garlic, you know, to me that's the holy trinity of red meat. Is doing its thing like I expect it to. And that little bit of ground mustard, it's triggering that nostalgic effect for me. Just a little hint there, but it makes me think of when I was a kid. That is fantastic. I'll tell you what, I'm going to go in for another piece here. So we had us a cold, windy day here. Made it a little tough to record for y'all and made an interesting first test for our acorn out there. But hey, we came through. We got some delicious venison tenderloin. If you like what we did here today, go ahead and hit that like button. And if you're new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe because our next video we got coming out is going to be another cold weather favorite. So y'all keep an eye out for that. Until then, y'all take it easy.